Coming up, grim new details on what happened to 2-year-old Jordan Bellevue, what his mom is now admitting to police. Plus, how Sarasota City Commissioners plan to pay for new public bathrooms being built at St. Armand's Circle. And when construction is expected to begin on a new Anna Maria City Pier. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, a Pinellas County Amber Alert ends after the body of a 2-year-old boy is found in a wooded area. His mother now charged with the boy's murder. This afternoon, we're learning new details about what she's accused of doing to the toddler. ABC 7's Marla Spence joins us in the studio with more today. Marla.
Scott, a new affidavit says 21-year-old Sharice Stinson admits that during a moment of frustration, she struck 2-year-old Jordan Bellevue in the face with the back of her hand, causing his head to hit a wall inside of her apartment. And after the blow, Stinson says Jordan suffered from seizures, leading to his death. Stinson went on to say that she carried Jordan's body out to a wooded area where he was later found. Largo police says Stinson's first claim a stranger named Antoine offered to give them a ride Saturday night before knocking her out, then abducting the child, but that was not true. Stinson told investigators Jordan had an unexplained serious injury to his right leg, and that's when she got frustrated and hit the child. During this investigation, police discovered bloody children's items inside of Stinson's apartment. Detectives also took a few items of children's clothing, which were found rolled up inside of a rug outside of Stinson's apartment. Police are glad they're close to closing this case and getting justice for the 2-year-old boy.
We had released a composite and information on an Antoine. We do not believe there was an Antoine. There was no Antoine related to this case. We don't believe there was a white Camry. That was all fabricated by Ms. Stinson to help cover her alibi for what she had actually done. So we are not currently looking for that person. The detectives have characterized her interviews as being deceptive, and she was not in Central Park, and she in subsequent interviews had admitted that she made up the story, that she had been in Largo Central Park. The injuries to her were, by her own admission, self-inflicted.
And right now, Stinson is in the Pinellas County Jail facing a first-degree murder charge and an aggravated assault charge, and is expected to be in court at 1:30 today. Jordan's family is honoring him at 5 today and will thank the community for their efforts in the search. A prayer vigil is also planned for Saturday, where the 2-year-old's body was found. Scott?
All right, Marla, thank you so much. Filmmaker Tyler Perry is raising the reward to help solve the case of 2 missing Southwest Florida men. A wrongful death lawsuit was filed against former Collier County Sheriff's Deputy Steve Calkins for his connection to the disappearance of Terrence Williams and Felipe Santos. They were last seen in Naples nearly 15 years ago. Both men were arrested by Calkins and placed in his patrol vehicle in separate incidents nearly 3 months apart. Calkins has not been charged but was fired for not cooperating with investigators.
When I first offered the $100,000 reward asking for information, we have not gotten any leads. I'm raising that reward to $200,000 for information. $200,000 for information that will help lead to the conviction of who we believe to be the culprit in this, which was Steve Calkins.
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump says he wants to bring the case in front of a jury. He also said he plans to subpoena Calkins. More help is on the way to make walking or biking safer here on the Suncoast. State transportation officials giving Sarasota police a grant to improve safety. If you ride a bike, you may not be surprised to hear that Sarasota County ranks in the top 25 counties in the state for serious injuries or fatalities. So for the next 9 months, police will study some area roads that have a history of accidents, including North Tamiami Trail, Main Street, Fruitville Road, and US 301. If you've ever wanted to see what it's like to be a police officer, Venice Police are giving a select few that chance. The agency offering a 10-week Citizen Police Academy that will give you a chance to experience a day in the life of an officer. The weekly classes will start in February, but the application process is now open. You have to pass a background check, and you can find out more information online on our website, mysuncoast.com. An update now on plans to build public restrooms in St. Armand's Circle. Sarasota City Commissioners approving plans last night, and they're not cheap, more than $500,000. ABC 7's Ray Collins joins us now with more on the story. Ray?
Yeah, Scott, it's the biggest complaint by shoppers and merchants. Construction, though, will finally begin in about 8 months on 2 freestanding restrooms on the grassy medians in St. Armand's Circle. And here is an artist rendering for you. The St. Armand's Business Improvement District will pay the $583,000. Then the city will pay over $100,000 a year going forward for maintenance. Now, we talked to one new restaurant owner on the Circle who thinks public restrooms are needed.
I think having restrooms would be really wonderful because we have a lot of tourists walking around here and people with children. So it is a great idea because I have been a tourist myself, and being a mom, it's just nice to have an option to use a restroom.
And also keep in mind that new parking garage that opens in St. Armand's Circle in December will also include 2 sets of restrooms as well. Scott?
What a relief. All right, Ray, thank you so much. Another pygmy killer whale is safe after being rescued, this one on Longboat Key. It's the 3rd marine mammal in just 1 week on the Gulf Coast. The other 2 were rescued on Clearwater Beach. Beachgoers spotted the stranded whale near the Four Winds Beach Resort. All 3 are now being treated at Mote Marine Lab and remain in critical condition. Right now, it's unclear why these whales stranded, but experts are looking at every possibility, including red tide.
A lot of these animals that mass strand, they're generally found far, far offshore. They're pelagic and they're in generally really tight, socially bonded groups. So a lot of times, if one animal is not making great decisions, the rest of them will follow them to the beach, almost like a Pied Piper. Sometimes it's following food. There are a lot of reasons that animals will mass strand. So it's not clear if it's red tide.
Mote Marine experts say they're doing everything they can to help these whales survive. They're also looking to try and determine if they're from the same group. An update now on construction of a new Anna Maria City Pier. Anna Maria City Mayor Dan Murphy says crews should start work as soon as next month on that pier. Now, the old one was heavily damaged by Hurricane Irma and was demolished over the summer. The city has secured more than $3 million for that construction of the new pier, with a big part of the money coming from FEMA. Time to get a look at our forecast now with meteorologist John Scalzi. John, Gordon is gone. And are we going to get back into that summer pattern, afternoon?
Kind of there already.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are some residual effects. We've got some high-level clouds kind of streaming by or blow off from the anvils of the thunderstorms there. But otherwise, you know, east wind continues. The afternoon showers and thunderstorms continues. You know, not much difference there. Maybe a little drier air might sneak in for the weekend. That would be kind of nice. Yeah. Wouldn't mind that. But otherwise, yeah, you can set your clock on those showers again this afternoon, I think. We're looking right now at a sky that started off pretty nice, actually. We had a beautiful sunrise, kind of the rising sun kind of reflecting colors on those high, thin clouds. It was nice, a nice start to the day. Now some clouds are beginning to build that are in part the kind of clouds that are part of the circulation out in Gulf waters of what was Gordon, still is kind of Gordon, but it's just tropical depression now. Hurricane Center handing off all forecasting for this system to the Weather Prediction Center and to hydrology. It's no longer tropical. So we're watching these high, thin clouds kind of moving in. No rainfall yet, but we're seeing the showers kind of in the same pattern as yesterday, moving in from the east, riding on that easterly wind flow. And with the sunshine that is peeking through the clouds, our temperatures again will be similar to yesterday. We're at about the same place that we were 24 hours ago, give or take a degree. And consequently, our daytime high probably topping out about the same. I'd say 92 will be our high today. We'll go with 91 by 3 p.m. and rain showers, a good bet at 60%. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. And as John just showed us, the worst of Tropical Storm Gordon is now over, but as the storm moves north, it's still dumping plenty of rain. ABC's Maggie Rulli shows us what areas of the country are under a major flooding threat.
Millions across the South and Midwest are now dealing with the remnants of Tropical Storm Gordon, lashing the coast in the early morning darkness with 70-mile-per-hour winds. Gordon made landfall just west of the Alabama-Mississippi state line.
Seriously, we gotta get out of here.
The storm drenching Alabama overnight, high winds tearing through this building, and Dauphine Island taking up to 5 feet of storm surge.
Winds gusting over 70s!
Today, the rain keeps coming. More than 8 inches are reported on the Alabama-Florida border. At least 1 death has been blamed on the storm so far. Authorities say a child was killed when a tree crashed onto a trailer in Pensacola, Florida. The storm is heading north and has now been downgraded to a tropical depression, but it's still threatening heavy rain and potential flooding. Gordon was the first major storm of this year's hurricane season, and it already has people asking what's next. Right now, Hurricane Florence, a Category 3, is brewing in the Atlantic, but so far it's still too early to tell if it's going to hit us here in the U.S. Maggie Bruley, ABC News, Biloxi, Mississippi.
Remember to get the latest breaking news from across the world and here at home, as well as your First Alert weather forecast. Download our apps, go to your app store, look for WWSB or My Suncoast. New at noon, it's almost moving day, literally, for one historic Suncoast church and museum. ABC 7's Stephanie Webb joins us now with that story. Stephanie?
Scott, that is right. Englewood's historic Green Street Church and Museum has a rich 89-year history, but this latest chapter could be the most interesting. First, just why is this building so important? Well, it is the first church ever built in Englewood way back in 1928. Now, long story short, because of zoning, lease, and parking issues, the church has to be moved. Now, today, it's getting prepped. The building itself will be put up on beams, then physically moved with a truck from West Green Street to the Lemon Bay Cemetery on September 11th, but not at a very fast speed.
Approximately 3 hours at walking speed. Well, everything inside the church has been laid out on the floor. It's been secured. We're told that the move will be very gentle. No windows will be broken, nothing damaged, and we trust that.
Now, the total cost of relocation is around $200,000, money that was raised through grants and donations. And it is money that many feel is definitely worth it in order to save a little piece of history. Scott?
Okay, Stephanie, thank you so much. Still to come in your Suncoast News, why the plastic bins at security checkpoints at the airport could have more germs than anything else you'll find there. And then what led to a woman poisoning her husband with eye drops? We'll explain coming up.
Mascara adds depth to the eyes. Lipstick gives the mouth color and definition. And ALS paralyzes the body.
You look great, Mom. Thank you.
Slowly taking away the ability to move and eventually breathe.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Attention. On January 1st, 2018, the United States Tax Cut Act officially became law. This law also changes Obamacare. If you are uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, there is now immediate relief. Health insurance that's not high-priced Obamacare is now available. Call the Health Insurance Helpline now. It's free. The cost for health insurance has been a serious problem in America, but now the law has changed. So many people don't get the insurance they need because they just don't call. Don't spend money you don't have to spend. Call now. It's free. If you are uninsured or unable to pay for ACA coverage, call the Health Insurance Helpline now. Get what you deserve. Call to see if you qualify for health care or dental coverage that starts immediately. Don't delay. Call now. It's free. Call 800-307-8167. 800-307-8167. Call 800-307-8167 now.
Gale's got it. Gale's got it.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too.
Gettle's got it.
Visit Gettle.com.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Yeah, we are about spot on where we were yesterday at this hour at 87 degrees. We have a feels like temperature of 97, which is right where we were yesterday. And we have a dew point value of 76, which was pretty much right where we were yesterday. So kind of an identical looking day with the exception of a little extra cloud cover perhaps. 3 p.m., I think we'll have about a 60% chance of showers again. Honestly, not much is going to change here over the next 4, 5, 6 days. 40% chance by the time we hit 7 p.m. I have a little bit of cloud cover to deal with as those showers and thunderstorms begin to fall apart as the heating of the day wanes. And then overnight, things clear out. We're left with partly cloudy skies, and we'll do it all over again one more time. So there's Gordon, now a tropical depression, beginning to lose tropical characteristics. It'll probably become strictly an extratropical system without any tropical characteristics by tomorrow, maybe the day after. But as soon as it kind of teams up with this frontal boundary, which is approaching, then it will start to really fall apart. Right now, it's still producing a fair amount of rainfall, but its effect on us really very minimal. We have this easterly wind flow continuing to pick up showers and draw them back in this direction, and we're already starting to see a few trying to work their way into inland counties this morning. It'll be by afternoon, though, that our general easterly wind flow collides with our sea breeze and we start to get a line of showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms popping up along the coastline and then moving out into Gulf waters. So the forecast for the next several days features good chances of afternoon showers, dry mornings, and then we'll watch the tropics. Here's Gordon, again, just a tropical depression lifting northward, caught up by, I'd say, Saturday, that frontal boundary, and then whisked out to areas around the Great Lakes. Two other places that we are watching, both of them deserve watching. One, a tropical wave coming off Africa. There's actually two tropical waves coming off Africa, but we're going to watch the first one in particular. A 90% chance of developing over 5 days. And then Florence, also possibly worth watching down the road. In the next half hour, I will show you a computer model which shows that system kind of getting a little too close for comfort to the United States. East wind coming in at about 10 knots over the course of the next 7 days. We'll look at about a 92 both today and tomorrow with a 60% chance of rain. Again, kind of identical days with that east wind pattern. Same thing probably on Friday as well. Maybe a little drier air working its way in for at least half of the weekend, reducing rain chances somewhat, continuing on into next work week. And then on Tuesday, moisture will return. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. In Health Smart today, if you have Honey Smack cereal in your pantry, throw it out. That's the warning from the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA says a salmonella outbreak linked to the cereal has sickened 30 more people. That makes 130 total cases in 36 states since the outbreak was announced earlier this summer. The FDA ordered Honey Smacks to be removed from store shelves back in June, but warns some locations are still selling it. Well, the place with the most germs in an airport may not be where you think. A new study shows the plastic bins that you use at TSA checkpoints are hotbeds for viruses. Researchers examined handrails, toilets, kiosks, touch screens, but they found that those bins have the highest amount of contamination. To help stop the spread of germs, travelers are encouraged to use hand sanitizer and wash their hands thoroughly and frequently. So it's time for lunch. Let's get over to the kitchen and check in now with ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher.
I love pancakes, but being in the position that I am, I have to be careful about watching my weight. So when I saw that they had a paleo pancake mix at Whole Foods, I was really excited because normally I make the batter with the almond flour and the coconut flour and eggs and coconut milk. This makes it so much better. So we can just get it all mixed in one packet. And as I said, I got over to Whole Foods. We're gonna just add some coconut milk to that. And then we're gonna add some warm bananas and cinnamon, some coconut chips, and bring it all together with just a little drizzle of a coconut syrup that I think you're gonna really enjoy. Have fun with the pancakes because they're paleo, so there will be calories, but there's certainly a lot less. We're not gonna have that gluten feeling like you do that you need a nap when you have a stack. So stay with me throughout the hour. We'll be flipping up some banana coconut pancakes, paleo style, in just a few minutes.
Hello, Mom.
Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs Right at Home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call Right at Home.
Get the right care right at home.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed. Isn't it? Why is
heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions. Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
New at noon, a woman is behind bars accused of poisoning her husband with over-the-counter eye drops. ABC's Amy Robach explains why his family is breaking their silence.
It's the common over-the-counter medicine used to relieve red or irritated eyes. But this morning, investigators say they still have no clear motive as to why 52-year-old Lana Clayton allegedly used eye drops to kill her husband of 4 years.
Well, she did admit during interviews with our detectives that she committed the crimes.
Stephen Clayton was found dead in the foyer of this $800,000 South Carolina mansion he shared with his wife in July. Police say they never suspected foul play was involved until toxicology results from his autopsy revealed high levels of tetrahydrozoline, the chemical found in eye drops and nasal sprays, in his bloodstream. If ingested orally, it can cause respiratory failure, seizures, and even comas.
During our search of the home, we found several bottles of the eye drops.
Police say Clayton admitted to poisoning her husband's water with the drops over the course of 3 days before his death. Neighbors say Clayton, an active member of her local church, held her husband's funeral in their very own backyard last month before investigators determined his cause of death. This morning, Clayton remains behind bars without bond, facing murder and unlawful tampering of food charges. Her husband's family speaking out, telling ABC News they are shocked and mortified at the cause of Stephen's death. All of our family and friends knew how much he loved his wife, Lana, and how devoted he was to her.
That's Amy Robach reporting. It's unclear if the woman has hired a lawyer. All right, let's get back to the kitchen now and check in again with Judy Gallagher.
So I've added 1.5 cups of the paleo pancake mix to 1.5 cups of coconut milk. And then I just wait to see if I need just a tad more milk or a tad more mix. But I always, no matter what type of pancakes I'm making, always make sure that you do let the batter sit for about 15 minutes before you actually start griddling the pancakes. Okay, so we'll start with these two. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna saute most of the bananas, but I'm just gonna dice in a couple for that extra pop of flavor. What I don't like is when I go out and all the fruit is just on top, and then I feel like the minute you eat that there's nothing good left. So this will give me like the 1-2 punch. Now my nephew likes to have chocolate chip pancakes. To make them a little healthier, you can get the soya chips, which are non-dairy and they're very low sugar, and that's a much better choice. So while this is starting to come together and rise up, I want to show you a couple of things I'm going to use today. Some organic, it is sweetened coconut, but it's just lightly sweetened. You can also buy packages of toasted coconut that's already toasted, it's not sweetened. So depending on how you like it, but a little sweetness is going to be fine. These coconut chips are wonderful, and that's going to go both in, they're naturally sweetened, they're going to go in, so again, adding texture even to a pancake. And there, we're going to let that just kind of sit. Now, the basis is I had these amazing macadamia nut pancakes in Hawaii. And I got the recipe, and I found out it was probably about 1,000 calories for 3 pancakes. So I thought, okay, we just can't do it this way. So I've omitted a lot of the butter, so there's just a little bit of butter. And then I just chop the macadamia nuts. Now, macadamia nuts can be expensive, so you can mix them with another nut if you want. You can certainly substitute, but I think macadamia nuts are what really set it apart. So I'm going to flip the pancakes over in just a minute. We'll get them browning on the other side, and then when I come back, I'm going to make a little sauce to go right over it with just a little bit of coconut nectar to sweeten everything up.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. My firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, hundreds of people with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them. We have local offices throughout the U.S., and there is no risk to you. Mesothelioma really is all we do. Call us at 1-800-485-6000. That's 1-800-485-6000. Or go to mesoonlylaw.com.
How do you open tough jar lids? Do you try this one? Or this one? Or how about this one?
Honey?
This is the future. Shouldn't there be a robot for this by now? There is. Introducing RoboTwist, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids. Just set it down, press the button, and watch it work. First, the RoboStrong vise locks down tight. Then the powerful twisting action unscrews the lid. RoboTwist is yours for the special introductory price of just $19.99. That's right, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids, all for just $19.99. Whether the jar is big or small, RoboTwist can open them all. Supplies are limited, so don't delay. Here's how to get yours today.
Call 1-800-347-1073. That's 1-800-347-1073. Or order online at buyrobotwist.com.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Coming up, a new book on the Trump White House is stirring up controversy on Capitol Hill, what the president is saying about it today. Plus, an update on manatees found in Venice, what crews are doing to help marine life deal with red tide, and what a local organization is doing to make sure more foster children have places to stay here on the Suncoast.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story at 12:30. The White House is denying claims in a new book that paints the president as uncontrollable and a danger to national security. ABC's Janae Norman has details from Washington as the president's team says the claims are nothing more than fabrications.
ABC News obtained an advance copy of Fear, the book written by Bob Woodward, who along with Carl Bernstein broke the Watergate scandal and paints a picture of White House aides struggling to rein in President Trump, trying to prevent him from making catastrophic mistakes. Among the claims, former chief economic advisor Gary Cohn allegedly swiped sensitive papers right off the Oval Office desk to keep the president from seeing them, reportedly saying, quote, "Gotta protect the country." After a discussion about strategy on the Korean Peninsula, according to the book, Defense Secretary James Mattis told associates the president, quote, "had the understanding of a 5th or 6th grader." And once during a meeting, Woodward says Chief of Staff John Kelly called the president an idiot, saying it's pointless to try to convince him of anything. He's gone off the rails. We're in crazy town. And of his embattled Attorney General Jeff Sessions, according to the book, the president reportedly said, "This guy is mentally retarded. He's this dumb Southerner."
Look, he may have hundreds of hours of tapes, but I think most of those probably come from some disgruntled former employees. It's a lot of anonymous sources.
The veteran journalist doesn't name sources, but says he conducted hundreds of hours of interviews with first-hand witnesses and even released a conversation he had with the president after the book was written.
I never got a call. I never got a message. Who did you ask about speaking to me?
Well, about 6 people.
Well, they don't tell me.
Senator, I talked to Kellyanne about it 2.5 months ago.
Senator Graham actually mentioned it quickly on one meeting.
President Trump responded calling Woodward's book, quote, "made up and a con to the public." Chief of Staff John Kelly called it pathetic and total BS. Defense Secretary Mattis said it's a product of someone's rich imagination, but so far no denials from Gary Cohn and others mentioned by name in the book. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
Right now, the second day of Senate Judiciary Committee's confirmation hearing for President Trump's latest Supreme Court nominee is underway. Judge Brett Kavanaugh facing questions from senators on his career, including his time working in the White House under President George W. Bush. Republicans are hoping to have Kavanaugh confirmed to the court by the first week of October. The father of a Parkland school shooting victim was in Washington for the start of Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing yesterday and says he was snubbed when he tried to shake Kavanaugh's hand. Fred Guttenberg tweeted about an encounter with Kavanaugh when the hearing took a lunch break. Guttenberg says he tried to introduce himself and shake Kavanaugh's hand, but the Supreme Court nominee turned and walked away.
He said, "Hi, my name is Fred Guttenberg. I'm the father of Jamie Guttenberg, who was murdered in Parkland." As soon as I got to the murdered in Parkland, that's where you saw him turn and move and walk the other way, and that's where you saw security start to help direct him. But he was listening to me. All he had to do was extend his hand back and say, "I'm sorry for your loss. Tell me about your daughter." That's it.
A White House spokesman says it was just a security issue, saying Kavanaugh did not know who the man was and security simply kept him moving. Happening today, a former Arizona senator is going back to Capitol Hill. Republican Jon Kyl will be sworn in as the replacement for the late John McCain. Kyl previously served in both the House and the Senate. He also spoke at a service honoring McCain last week at the state capitol. He'll serve until 2020 when a special election will be held to fill the last 2 years of McCain's term. Kyl has already said he will not run in that special election. New at noon, British authorities have charged 2 Russian nationals in connection with a nerve agent attack on a former Russian spy and his daughter. Investigators say the suspects traveled to England under an alias. While Britain is not seeking to extradite them from Russia, a European arrest warrant could be issued. That means if they travel to anywhere in Europe, they could be picked up for the crime. The former Russian spy and his daughter were poisoned last March and were hospitalized but did survive the attack. Traces of a nerve agent were later found in the suspect's hotel room. Happening across the state, it looks like it's turning into a tight race for Florida's next governor. One of the most recent polls shows Tallahassee Mayor and Democratic nominee Andrew Gillum is up 3 points against GOP nominee Ron DeSantis. Gillum has gained support from progressives like former presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. If Gillum wins, he would become Florida's first African-American governor. The Venice Marine Patrol recovering several manatees sickened by red tide in recent days. A group of friends from Jacksonville was visiting Venice this past weekend to do some fishing, but they became part of a rescue of one of the 5 manatees recovered in an area because of red tide. After spotting the distressed manatee, they called for help, and the Venice Marine Patrol was first on the scene, giving instructions on how to help the sea cow breathe better until Florida Fish and Wildlife arrived.
To sit back and first of all rejoice about the fact that out of 4 that were called in on that day, ours was the only one that came out of the water still alive that hadn't drowned.
And SeaWorld officials say the manatee is recovering well and is no longer showing any sign of red tide exposure. It sounds like those tourists got there just in the nick of time to save that manatee.
Indeed. So much of our sea life in distress out there. You know, we've lost so much. We are watching again today the east wind continuing, so that's good in terms of blowing the toxins back out towards sea.
Helps
so,
a lot,
yeah, we're glad to see that. Spoke with one chef who has his restaurant out there on the waterfront, and he says that it's been about a week now and they haven't had any problems with the smell of red tide, so we're glad to see that. Lakewood Ranch webcam shows those high, thin clouds kind of moving by from time to time. Not rain producers, but the lower clouds are beginning to build, and we will see a few of those start to produce rainfall probably pretty soon now, probably in the next couple of hours. Satellite view shows those thin clouds kind of rotating in around an area of high pressure. In part because of the rotation of Gordon, and in part because our moist, warm air is starting to produce clouds locally. Some of the showers moving in from the other coast promise us about a 60% chance of showers today as we take our current temperatures in the upper 80s to near 92 degrees. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. And as we approach the peak of hurricane season, the Humane Society is reminding pet owners to make sure you have a plan in place to keep them safe. The organization recommends having a disaster kit ready in your home at all times. And some of the items that should be included in that kit: food and water for at least 5 days for each pet, medication for at least 5 days, and all medical records. Make sure your pet is wearing a collar with identification or is microchipped. Sturdy leashes, litter boxes, current photos, and comfort items like a bed and toys will also keep your furry friends safe and happy. And just a reminder, there's still a little less than 3 months left in this year's hurricane season, and we have everything you need to know about preparing for a storm on our website, mysuncoast.com, including a link to our hour-long Surviving a Hurricane special. Last year, more than 700 children were removed from their homes here on the Suncoast, and each month more than 1,000 are in and out of foster homes. To help keep siblings together while in the foster care system, Guardian Angels of Southwest Florida and the Florida Baptist Children's Home are building 6-bedroom homes for foster parents in Palmetto, allowing enough space for them to take in those siblings. The homes are built with donations from the community. Foster parents can live there rent-free as long as they provide a stable home environment.
So often they don't have the guidance that they need from both parents. So we want to put a picture and maybe end that cycle of foster care.
The organization has built 3 homes so far on its 9-acre property. A 4th home is going up now, and eventually 9 will be built there. Happening now, the Manatee County Libraries are adding a new perk to its list of reasons to get a library card: free passes to the South Florida Museum. One set of South Florida Museum passes will be available at each of the Manatee Library locations for card holders. They'll be available on a first-come, first-served basis. All right, let's get back over to the kitchen and check in on the pancakes with ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher.
Okay. Okay, I've taken the first few pancakes out of the pan. I'm going to add just a little more butter, not very much, because this is going to be shared amongst 4 people. I'm going to add the chopped macadamia nuts and just let them toast up a little bit. And let's add the bananas. You know, when you're making bananas Foster, you usually deglaze the pan. There's more butter, there's cinnamon and sugar, and of course there's alcohol. Now, if you want to make a more friendly version, is just use a little bit of the cinnamon, melted butter, and the natural sweetness you're going to get. So we don't need a lot more. If you wanted to use something like a coconut rum to deglaze the pan, you most certainly could. So now I have 2 types of coconut. I have the slightly sweetened and I have the toasted coconut flakes. We'll put some of those in the pan and some of those on top. And then we're going to do just a little coconut nectar and a teeny drizzle there. And we're going to let this just kind of come together, just so the bananas, I almost said wilted. Bananas don't wilt, they just kind of turn, but just to heat them up so you can see the direction I'm going at, right? All right. Now this is with no added sugar. We just had that cinnamon sprinkled on there. Let's go right here. Now this is the perfect time. They make the PB now, PB2, that you can basically buy peanut butter powder. It's dehydrated, and just bring it back with a little water. You can even spread that on the layers, and that would just make a wonderful dish as well. Now I'm just going to top this with just a teeny bit more of the coconut nectar, and this is going to be my cheat meal, which isn't bad when you think about that I'm having pancakes and I am having the sweetness of the coconut nectar put in with the bananas and the macadamia nuts. This is going to be about half the calories. So, excuse me, along with a little Prosecco, I'm going to make a mimosa using an immune refresher juice. It's another way to get your family to get those added vitamins in, is just make a simple cocktail. And of course, for the kiddos, we can use a little seltzer water in there and really make it fun. But together, oh man, this is just going to be luscious. Come over soon for some pancakes. I make them every weekend.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Tomorrow at 9 on Suncoast View.
It is steamy and stormy. Yes, that is September on the Suncoast. I'm Joey Panic. On Suncoast View, our movie guy Matt is back with ideas on what to see in local theaters this month when Mother Nature rains on your outdoor plans. You're never too old to learn a new skill. We'll hear about a group of local seniors who are starting out as improv comedians. We'll try our hand and our feet at West Coast swing dancing, and Giorgio's on Hillview in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 9 on Suncoast View.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Still holding at 87 degrees, mixed sun and clouds, and a feels like temperature of 97. We'll head through the afternoon with about a 60% chance of rain, tapered off to about 40% by 7 p.m. as the skies begin to cloud over and thunderstorms begin to dissipate. We'll be left with partly cloudy overnight skies. Starting at about midnight, things will start to clear out pretty nicely. We don't have a lot of rainfall in progress now, but we certainly have the effects of this east wind being seen on our echoes. They're coming in from the Atlantic. You're going to make it all the way across. And eventually, we're going to see them kind of collide with our sea breeze, which will be pinned pretty close to the coast by this easterly wind. And these light showers that we see beginning to move into inland counties will start to blossom into thunderstorms a little later on. High pressure in the Atlantic, kind of building in as Gordon departs, will be the name of the game for the next couple of days, providing us with an easterly wind flow, and hopefully by the weekend maybe filtering in a little bit of drier air. The easterly wind will allow these showers to build and become more numerous along our coast a little later in this afternoon as it encounters our sea breeze, and then they all push out into Gulf waters and dissipate. A pattern that we have become familiar with over the last couple of weeks as we got rid of the west wind flow and developed this more typical summertime east wind flow. So good chances for afternoon storms today, tomorrow, the next day probably. Dry mornings, that'll be true right straight into the weekend, so if you wanted to plan a early tea time or tennis game, it should be fine. And we'll be watching the far tropics over the course of the next week. And the reason is these two systems in particular. One, Florence, of course, now a formidable hurricane. Look, the eye of the hurricane visible from space. Then we have this tropical wave, which really hasn't formed yet, but is given about a 90% chance of development with time. Florence, kind of problematic. It is beginning to develop stronger and stronger. It's now a Category 3 storm. Of course, it's still out here in the open waters and really not bothering anybody, but forecast track tends to take it west and then more of a northwest turn eventually, heading up toward Bermuda or at least into the open waters. The Hurricane Center is very straightforward about the fact that the intensity forecast is uncertain, as is what happens to this system after it leaves this track. This is 5 days out, but some of the computer models taking it out even further. Let's put it out here about 10 days out or 7 days out, and you'll see that the system gets pretty close to the east coast of the United States. Now, this is one computer model. It's way in the distance. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of error here, so we will continue to monitor it, of course, update you. It wouldn't probably be a threat to Florida, but anywhere along the east coast this far out gives concern and should be kept in the back of the mind, and we'll be watching it. And then this tropical wave, while it opens up in this computer model, may not down the road when we start talking about the reality of the situation. So both of those systems bear watching next week, and we will. East wind at about 10 knots today, and the forecast for the days ahead call for 92 today and tomorrow. Chance of rain about 60% on Friday. Then Sunday we start to bring in some drier air, reducing rain chances for a couple of days. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In consumer news, September is known for its big sales. Deals on clothing and shoes are common as the seasons change from summer to fall. It's also a big month for Apple iPhone sales. September is when the company traditionally announces its next generation of iPhone. This year, that happens September 12th. And that means prices drop on the older generations of the device. There are also good deals on grills since it's the end of the summer for the rest of the country. And don't forget about airfares. While January and October are usually the cheapest months to fly, you can find bargain fares in September as well. If you have an iPhone 8 and are having some issues with it, it may have been recalled. Apple is recalling some of its most popular devices. The company says there's a manufacturing defect involving the iPhone's logic board, which causes them to freeze or turn off. And in some cases, the phone won't even turn back on. This recall is only for the iPhone 8s that were sold between last September to March of this year. Apple says it will fix the problem for free. Amazon, the latest company knocking on the door of the $1 trillion club. During trading yesterday, Amazon market value crossed the threshold, making it a $1 trillion company. But it did pull back just a bit, leaving it just short at the close. Last month, Apple became the first American company worth at least $1 trillion. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we'll check in one more time with Chef Judy in the kitchen, and we'll hear from the oldest living couple and get their advice on staying together for 80 years. Stay with us.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
What do you get when you cross your tired, aching back with this fragile egg? The Egg Sitter Cushion, an amazing new flex cushion that supports your backside and spine so well you can sit on an egg without breaking it. Incredible!
You want me to sit on this egg? Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't even feel it. It didn't even break? Oh, I was wondering about that. Now that's a good cushion.
The honeycomb design is constructed of Elasticor that absorbs pressure points by collapsing in on itself. That's why even this egg won't break under direct pressure. Now long days at the office will be more comfortable, dinner more enjoyable, and painful car rides a thing of the past. Get your Egg Sitter Support Cushion for just $39.99. It comes with a free non-slip washable cover and our 10-year comfort guarantee. But wait, call right now and you can get a second cushion. Just pay separate fee. Call now.
Call 1-800-232-1564. That's 1-800-232-1564. Call now or go to eggsitter.com. Order now.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
So there we have it, paleo pancakes, banana, coconut, and macadamia nuts married together with just a little coconut nectar, which you can find right by the maple syrups. And I really find this is to be the ultimate brunch dish. I don't think people are going to really necessarily know that it's paleo, but it makes a real big difference. It's not as heavy gluten-wise, and of course we're going to serve the immune juice with a little Prosecco, so you really have this lovely brunch that you can serve. And so many people are eating gluten-free, it's just a good option to have this. Mix in berries or a little peanut butter, as I mentioned earlier, and you'll have a match. You can get this recipe by going on mysuncoast.com. Click on the recipe button. You can look at the videos, look at the different restaurants we have to share, and enter to win a $50 gift card to one of those local restaurants. Well, guys, I'm going to get ready to have some pancakes and send it back to you.
Looks good. Thank you, Judy. Coming up on ABC 7 News at 4, a popular Venice beachside bar and restaurant is asking the city for a rent reduction because of red tide. Their case and how much the outbreak is hurting its business. Plus, the renourishment of Longboat Key is underway. We'll look at the process and how it's expected to help with erosion. We hope you'll join us later today at 4. In entertainment news, summer is barely in the books, but Hollywood is already thinking about the holidays. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
And so are cinemas. The Sound of Music is returning to more than 600 U.S. movie theaters this Sunday, September 9th, and next Wednesday, September 12th. The much-loved musical won 5 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director.
So I really discovered what being happy was.
Jewel is bringing back her Handmade Holiday Tour. The second annual event features the singer-songwriter and special guests, including family members, playing holiday classics and her own tunes. And before each show, audience members can make holiday gifts. Ticket sales for the general public begin Friday. Tour info at jeweljk.com.
Welcome to our world.
Speaking of the holidays, Disney has dropped its final trailer for The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Helen Mirren, Mackenzie Foy, Keira Knightley, and Morgan Freeman star in the new take on the classic ballet, which hits theaters November 2nd. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Kim Kardashian West is working to get another prisoner released. The reality star was at the White House again today, meeting with President Trump to talk about prison reform and give him a list of other prisoners she believes should be pardoned and released. The main prisoner in question is a man sentenced to life in prison for drug-related charges in Tennessee. Kardashian West helped get Alice Marie Johnson's sentence pardoned by the president earlier this year. Finally, the oldest living married couple in the world with a combined age of 208 lives in Japan. The Matsumotos have been married for 80 years, and they have now been confirmed as the oldest living spouses by the Guinness Book of World Records. The two never actually had a wedding ceremony because it was wartime when they got together. The reason they say their marriage has lasted so long? His wife's patience. That's pretty powerful in a marriage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
At times.
Yeah, it needs to be. That's a funny story. Yeah. That's kind of an amazing story on many fronts. One, that they were married that long, and two, that they're that old. Goodness gracious. Yeah. What are they eating, you know?
A Japanese diet
works. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah.
Although they say there's problems now because they're getting so much fast food, fried food in the diet. Anyway.
Have a wonderful day ahead. I hope to see you again at 4 o'clock.
You like to pay less. That's why you made Honda Accord the best-selling midsize car in America. Get the redesigned Accord, the North American Car of the Year, or Civic, a KBB.com Best Buy for less than the competition. Like SUVs and trucks? Get Motor Trend's SUV of the Year, CRV, the 8-passenger Pilot, or Ridgeline truck for up to $4,240 less. Today at your local Honda dealer.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Watch Suncoast View weekdays at 9 a.m. on ABC 7.